I am a do-it-yourselfer and been working on my own shower and been working with the Kerdi product. One thing, because it's my first time really using this stuff, I'm a little worried about, me doing something incorrectly and having a leak. So one thing I wanted to do was use something like AquaDefence or RedGuard or RX8+9 to help seal all the seams, just to make sure that I don't have any issues. But when I look online, a lot of people say not to, or there's no research and stuff like that, and I talked to a Tyler that I'm dealing with, and he said that he wouldn't use it because he's never done before and it might not bond to Kerdi and all that kind of stuff. But I kind of feel like with things like that, just because it's never been done doesn't mean it shouldn't be done, but you just got to do some research. So what I did was I took a bunch of scrap Kerdi pieces and started doing some testing. Now, at first, what this is I just wanted to see how well does AquaDefence bond. After this, what I want to do is take some AquaDefence, put it on thin set to see how well it bonds to thin set. And then I'm also going to take some thin set I'm going to be mixing and putting it on these pieces to see how well thin set sticks to AquaDefence. So anyways, I'm going to be probably putting out a couple of videos on this, but this is my first one. So first of all, my curiosity was like, how strong is AquaDefence? So this was like a big blob that I put on plastic, and you can see it's very hard. It is kind of pliable, and it's also quite strong. Okay, it does break, or you can like kind of tear it, but otherwise it's quite durable. If I use like this pick, like the pick will go into it, but I gotta put quite a bit of force. So it's fairly puncture proof as well. So overall, I think like it looks like a pretty good product. Now this is the mixing stick I used, and I tried peeling off the AquaDefence off this mixing stick to see how well it bonded to wood. And this stuff is like, it's stuck on there pretty good. Now this has been on here for a couple days now, so it should be 100% fully cured. And you can see I'm able to get it, but look at that. I'm taking the wood off with the AquaDefence as I'm trying to peel this stuff off. So I'm sure I can get it to start coming off, but like it's coming off in little chunks. I have to work pretty hard, and like it's on there pretty good. Now I took some AquaDefence and stuck it onto this plastic just to see how strong it is when it's put on pretty thin. Okay, so that was pretty thin. You can see the light through it. And let's see if I can, with one hand. Okay, so it's pretty strong. You can tear it, right? It's tearing at that weak spot, obviously. With one hand I'm able to tear it there. Let's see if I can tear it again. So it is tearing, okay, so you can see that, but it does have some stretch to it. There you go. So it has some stretch, some give, so that's good to see, because I was kind of curious to see, because I'd heard things where it can go brittle, and I just thought like, well, if I'm using this on, say, the foam Kerdi shower pan, now that shower pan, it's not going to be compressing all the time, but what if you paint it on there and then something drops on it, or while you're putting your mosaic on the floor or whatever, you put a bit of pressure on it. You don't want this stuff to just crack instantly. So speaking of that, so this is just a piece of Kerdi. Now this Kerdi had thin set on it. I was using it for testing some thin set on it. And so let's just see, if I put pressure on this, does it look like it cracks? So I'm making some sizable dents there. Let's really dig this one in as hard as I can. Okay, so there's that dent, and I can't see any cracking or anything there. So that's on some just dry, kind of powdery thin set that was on there. So let's see how well it bonded. So you can see all that kind of crusty thin set that was on there. So if I start peeling this off, you can hear that tearing. So obviously this stuff stuck pretty well. Look at that. It's pulling like the fabric and stuff right off of the Kerdi. So it not only stuck really well to that thin set, but it stuck really well to the Kerdi through the thin set. So that's a really good sign. Right. Let's see, let's pull that all the way off. There we go. So look at that. Well, that's a really good sign. So that cured really nicely all the way through, and it grabbed all of the felt and peeled all the felt off the Kerdi. You can see all the fuzziness on there. So that, not only did it grab well onto the thin set, it also grabbed well onto the Kerdi. So now this was 2 thick coats. So again, I wanted to see how strong it was. So you can see those kind of little marks there from where it stretched. I'm not sure if it peeled. Let's see if I can peel this off. Now this was onto clean Kerdi. So I don't know. Oh, I'm just peeling the fabric off right now. Jeez. Okay, so that's just peeling fabric off. I don't even know if I can get... So if anyone says that AquaDefence doesn't stick to Kerdi, well, I would say that's not true. And this is Kerdi, you can see the back there. So this stuff is really strong. Okay, so now you can tear it, okay? So it is definitely not tear resistant, but I'm curious to see where I pushed all the dents in, so you can see kind of where I pushed the dents into the fabric or into the cardboard there. So you can't really see through it, and you can see those indents, but I don't think it like punctured through it. I think it, oops, sorry. I don't think it punctured through it. I think it just got stretched. So far, I'd say that that's pretty good. Now, I did some, that's another thick coat. In case I had some issues, I wanted to make sure I did a couple just to try. Let's see how this one peels off. Okay, so again, peeling it all off there. Okay, so again, so that's, see, it grabbed pretty good. And let's see this real quick. Now, these are thin. So these ones I put on too thin, I think, if anything. I did a couple thin coats just to see. It's kind of hard to see it in that lighting, but I definitely put on about maybe half this thick. So I spread it out pretty thin. I'm just trying to get this to start peeling off. Let's try doing this. I'm gonna probably hurt my thumb. Let's get this going. Oh. Yeah, this stuff's, even the thin coats, it's not like this stuff's flaking off or anything. Like if I puncture some holes in there, try to pop it off, it's not flaking off or anything. Like that is, it's basically like glue on there. All right, that's not coming off. Now these were some really thick ones I put on there, just blobs, just to see how those grabbed. Let's see if I can just, pop these off. There we go. Okay. All right. So again, sticks really well to clean Kerdi. All right. So I would have no worries about that coming off or separating or something. You know, people were saying, I was reading people saying like, well, it could separate, it could do this, could do that. I don't know. I just don't see how that would happen when looking at how strong this stuff is. Good grief. Okay, so obviously it's strong, all right? Now, one thing I did was I actually took some of the AquaDefence and I sandwiched it between these 2 boards. Now, this I did thin on there, so let's see how strong. Okay, I'm trying to use one hand here. Okay. All right, so now that's been there for about 4 days now, and look at this. Okay, so obviously this stuff does not bond, and that's thick bonding. So like it's on there pretty tight, but oh man, I don't know if I'll be able to get this one off. I might need to put my phone down for a second. Jeez, I almost need to use my foot. Oops. Like, obviously it's strong. Ugh. Okay. So obviously this stuff's strong, but as you can see, just by the color, oops, sorry. Just by the color of it, you can see how it's kind of a light green compared to the dark green, and that's because it hasn't cured fully. And you know what? This stuff, I think if you bonded, if you used it for like installing Kerdi band, not a good idea. Oh, and I can even smell that it's not fully cured. Like that was bonding like crazy. Like that's super strong, considering it's not even fully dry. So far, I would say that this AquaDefence looks like it will work on Kerdi no problem. But I want to do some more testing. So if you have any ideas for other testing I can do, I've got a bunch of scrap pieces of Kerdi still lying around. What else I'm doing with this one is actually just painting AquaDefence on the inside and then filling this thing up with water and seeing if it will seal well. You know, and just using a paintbrush and sticking some AquaDefence in there and then leaving it and just fill it with some water and see what happens. One of these is even loose. Oh no, this one's all good. I have another one that one of them is loose. And I'm just going to just see what happens. But anyways, if you have any ideas, please let me know. I'm gonna do some more testing, and if I do some more tests, I will definitely post what my results are. But so far, I would say AquaDefence and Kerdi, why not? I really don't see why not. And I can understand people's concern of if there's a pinhole that water can get between the Kerdi and the AquaDefence and then start to mold or become like mildew. But the thing is, I don't know, if you have a pinhole in your Kerdi, that water's then getting between your Kerdi and your subfloor, or your Kerdi and going into the ceiling of the floor below you, which I think is a lot worse. If I'm gonna have water leaking, I'm gonna want it to leak between some AquaDefence and Kerdi and not between the Kerdi and my house. So I don't know, any thoughts on that would be great. Other input, other ideas, or maybe you've tried this and it's failed, or maybe you've tried it and it's been successful. But anyways, hopefully this is kind of giving you some ideas of what to try or look at. And like I said, I'll post some more videos of other tests.